Attack on Titan is one of the greatest animes of all time, and Eren Yeager is one of the best written characters ever.
Any idea where we're standing right now? You don't have to serve anyone. You can make your own choices.
Eren is a perfectly crafted character, and it's very rare to have a main character be the most liked character in the show. The main characters don't usually hit like that. They're usually just always right on the good side, on the right side of things. But Eren's character is much deeper, and he's a creation of everything and everyone around him. And the path he follows is actually like really realistic and perfect. It makes sense for where he ends up in the end. His character development throughout the show, he started off as a weak little kid who couldn't do anything about anything, and he ends up being able to do anything about anything. He's given so much responsibility and power to where he ends up out of control. He's gone through so many stages and so many types of emotions of seeing all his friends and family die, and he just couldn't do anything about it. Then when he finally overcomes his weakness and he's in control and he has the power to do what he needs to do, he's just never lets his foot off the brakes. This show's soundtrack is so good, I actually went and added it on my Apple Music, and every once in a while, I even use it for like the gym. Every once in a while I listen to it. Go listen to Attack on Titan's playlist or the album for the show while you're at the gym. You're gonna get a good pump in.
It's been a while.
The music in this show is so hype. It's actually crazy. You can feel the emotions of the Titans, or Eren specifically, when the music is playing, and it conveys what he feels perfectly.
I'm gonna
Wish I could be Eren when he's a Titan to see what's going on in his head when he's going crazy like that, man. This show immediately stands out. It's interesting, different, looks cool. It's a very cool concept as well. The concept of Titans by itself is very cool and interesting because immediately you wonder who, what, where, why, when, how, and all these questions just start spinning in your head, and it's like, this is a story I'm interested in. The show immediately pulls you in, and the funny thing is, it doesn't just shove Titans in your face. It builds the character and the world and everything, and keeps the Titan in his back pocket to keep you interested as they do world building, and they pull out little facts and stuff about Titans as it goes on, and it keeps you wondering when you see Titans again. But I think they do a pretty good job with it because they balance the human story and the Titan story pretty well throughout the show. One thing that caught me off guard in season 1 was Eren getting killed, and it actually had you convinced that he died, you know? So for a second there, I was like, wow, he actually just died? Who's the real main character of the show? But it did show me the stakes and how serious the Titans and everything should be taken. Anger isn't always going to be the answer to everything, and I think that's one of the first lessons that Eren learns, and it was crucial to his character development too. But when Eren comes to save Mikasa, it was pretty obvious to me, like, oh yeah, that's Eren. It's clearly Eren, and it was pretty dope. That was a really good moment. It's almost like the show was already completely written before they even started it, before they even animated it, before it even came out. Like with Mikasa not knowing why her body wouldn't give up, why she wouldn't stop fighting. And later on, we learn it's because she's destined to protect Eren because of her Ackerman blood. I'm glad it takes time for Eren to learn how to control his Titan powers. It makes characters like Armin useful because he's talking to him, trying to get him to come out and be normal. And this actually makes for a really hype moment in the show. I like the introduction of Hanji, Levi, and Irvin. They're very likable characters. They're all very likable in their own right too. Man, season 1 was so packed because we still got Annie's arc too. Always knew it was Annie though. It was actually pretty obvious. And yes, Annie is my crush over Mikasa. And you know why.
Get some help.
But no, when Annie goes on her little killing spree, it's actually very entertaining. I was so into the show during that time because we went from one thing to another that quick, and it was so satisfying to see a Titan that knew what it was doing kill humans. Plus Annie's scenes were just cool overall. But when Annie gets in the forest and she fights the Levi squad, now that was some heart-wrenching moments. Watching all of Eren's squad mates die and seeing his reaction and his anger build up, because the voice actor is just so good. I can't give enough credit to the voice actor of Eren. It's just, he's just amazing. He conveys so many different emotions, and it's like he was made for Eren, showing how angry his emotions are. Sometimes it gets my heart pumping when all his squad mates died and he was in the air and he looked at all of them and you could just feel the tension and anger building up. I felt it myself. I was like, oh man, Eren, please get this chick. Please kill her. I wanted to get in there and fight for Eren. This fight is so satisfying though because Eren's anger is conveyed so perfectly.
I should never have left it to them. I should have fought her from the very start. It's all my fault. I should have killed her! And with Captain Levi there, we would have beaten her. We could have captured this monster. I'm going to rip you to shreds. Once my hands heal, I'll tear you apart, piece by piece. Then I'll devour you.
The hard swings, the punches he's throwing, you can feel that, like, he really wants to kill her. And I really want him to land a good punch, which he does eventually, but he had to learn how to control his anger. He was fighting with so much emotion. It was just, it's so perfect and realistic. Because it's so realistic for Eren to just lash out like that, like he's always been. So when he gets the power of a Titan, it's just times 10. But when he did finally land a punch on Annie, it just released a lot of tension. And I was like, oh, thank God at least. Because I know he's not going to win the fight. It would have been too early. It wouldn't have been satisfying for him to beat Annie that early. You know, Eren has to learn. He can't beat a skilled Titan, somebody that's clearly been training. But man, when he landed that punch, it was just like, oh, thank God. Yes, I'm glad you landed at least one. And it was a hard one too. He sent her flying. Watching Levi look at all his dead comrades though, that was a really tripped out scene because it just shows what Levi has been through, and he's gotten so used to seeing so much death. It's just like his facial expression is just blank, and he's just, I couldn't imagine what he actually feels inside. Levi is literally just dead inside. Eren finally gets his character development though at the end of the season. He finally gets over that hurdle of feeling too weak. You know, he gets stabbed by the piece of wood and Armin has to come talk to him again, but he finally mans up and he handles his business. I think this is when you can see a little bit of Eren's craziness kick in when he's going after Annie and he's on fire and he can't control himself and he just wants to kill, you know. But it was a perfect ending to the arc. At the beginning of season 2, we get introduced to the Beast Titan, and it's such a mysterious feeling the show gives off, especially with the music that plays when you watch the Beast Titan just walking and lumbering around, and it's kind of freaky. It's like, what in the world is that? But yeah, the feeling you get with the music that plays, you just get a feeling that no other show can make you feel besides Attack on Titan.
Went for the horse?
But I think the beginning of season 2 is definitely the most boring part of the show. Not that it was bad or anything. I think it's just that I don't really care for Ymir and Historia's story. It just wasn't that interesting to me. Not to mention when we hear Historia scream Ymir's name a bunch of times, it gets annoying actually. And then I actually kind of cringed at some of Historia's moments throughout the season too.
I'm not afraid!
But then they turn it all the way back up to 10. We get one of the most iconic moments of the show when Reina tells Eren that he's the armored titan. I definitely didn't expect him to just admit it like that, so nonchalantly, but the fight after was so good. And all the emotions from Eren when he's thinking about the flashbacks of the good times he had with Reina and Bertolt while he's falling in Reina's hand, that had me almost tear up for a second. All I could think was, oh man, I feel so bad for Eren, man. He's just always getting bad news. And little did I know that wasn't going to be it for him and the bad news he's going to get. And that's why I think it's kind of justified for Eren to go as insane as he did. But we do get more character development from Eren as he learns how to control his emotions while fighting. And that starts Reina's losing streak. Rewatching it though is nice to see what Reina was talking about all those times, and it makes sense now. And I love the quote he gives to Eren right before they fight.
As a warrior, no road left but the one that leads to the end.
His quote and some quotes from Eren. And speaking of Eren, let's talk about him real quick because he is my second favorite character. He is the perfect inspirational character, the perfect leader, the perfect commander without being too cliche and without being cringy as well. He already gets your respect from the start because he shows that he's very capable and a respectable leader that knows what he's doing, and he's willing to make sacrifices when he needs to. And those sacrifices included his own life at risk. When he's out there with his own soldiers, risking his life on that battlefield with all those titans, it just raises the bar. Specifically when he's riding the horse and he gets his arm bitten off, and instead of screaming and being in pain, he tells his soldiers to keep going and attack. That was nuts.
I said advance, goddammit! Eren's right in front of you! Do not falter!
This dude said, don't worry about me, keep going. Man. But when Hannes died, I did drop a real life tear. That was just too much. I felt so bad for Eren, like he was a real person. And because I wanted Hannes to live so badly, there was so much tension. This show has so much tension. It feels like Game of Thrones a lot of times because you don't know who's gonna die and when. And I was just sitting there like, no way they kill somebody else. And then when Hannes is killed, you can really feel the insanity start to kick in for Eren when he starts doing that laugh, when he starts laughing first before he starts crying. I know that's a real thing when somebody's trying to figure out how to deal with trauma, but you just can't help but feel so bad for Eren because the voice actor does such a good job. The sub and dub voice actor, actually, I listened to both versions. They both do an incredible job of conveying the amount of pain and suffering that Eren is going through. And right when he thought he was starting to get strong enough, he couldn't defend Hannes either.
You haven't grown up one goddamn bit! You're still as useless as you've ever been! Nothing's changed!
So then there's season 3. There's a lot of human conflict in season 3. First there's Kenny versus Levi, and the animation was super good. Their relationship was very interesting, and it was entertaining when it came to those two. But all the other human stuff was okay. I appreciate that they spent the time with humans and the show wasn't just about Titans, so it did do some good world building with that. I think it's just that you want to learn about the Titans so badly if we're going to deal with humans, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. When the show was coming out though, I was kind of like, I kind of want this to just hurry up so we can get back to the Titan stuff. I do like the part of the show where Rod is trying to trick Historia into falling into that same ritual again. And we did finally get to learn about Eren and how to become a Titan using the serum. When they go back to Shiganshina, we start getting character development for Armin, showing how he's going to be the next leader, which was very important for later on. There was never a dull moment in Shiganshina. The way Erwin plans and coordinates everything is so clever and cool to see. And I love that moment between him and Reina where Reina's trying to figure out what's going on. And it was nothing harder than when Erwin gave Reina that side eye. Man, and Reina could do nothing but give him props.
You're not giving me any time to think, Commander. You clever bastard.
And Eren finally became a capable fighter, so that was really good to see that he harnessed his skills completely with all that training with Hanji, and he could finally fight on his own. And that added another loss to Reina's record. It sucked so bad that Eren had to give up on his dream, which was really heartbreaking because he was a true commander as he led himself and all his troops to their deaths in a last-ditch effort while Levi mercilessly killed every Titan and then destroyed the Beast Titan. I'll never forget the jaw-dropping moment of all those troops dying while Erwin is charging and leading them and giving them a speech. And that speech is still one that I hear in my head every once in a while too. Now Levi attacking the Beast Titan was obviously peak fiction.
Is this Levi? My name! I can't see! Did he take out my eyes? My legs!
What's wrong? Not enjoying yourself so much anymore?
Then there was another really good emotional scene where they have to decide who's going to get the serum. This was another perfect scene that was boosted by the great voice actors, especially Eren's once again.
We only got this far because of Armin! I can't save humanity and neither can the commander! But Armin can! Tell him, Mikasa!
Bryce Papenbrook is incredible. Now I had a pretty good idea that Armin was going to get the shot simply because they had been building him up to be a good leader, but I still had doubts in my mind because this show is very unpredictable that maybe Erwin would get it, but it does make me wonder what would have happened if Erwin actually got the shot. Would Eren have been able to go as crazy as he did? Maybe not. I think maybe things would have went in a different direction. I really love the scene, and it always hits me in the feels too when they're walking through their old town and all the memories they see. The show did a good job in making the audience feel like you're a part of what they've been through. And then of course the music, always elevating the scenes in this show. It matches perfectly and it makes you feel a certain type of way. Then we finally get all the secrets revealed. It was a very long time coming and it was very well deserved as the audience. It feels like we waited long enough, and it was amazing to see all the exposition finally come out at the end of season 3 and throughout season 4. Now I do want to start off with season 4 talking about the CGI. I didn't really care for the CGI, but I didn't let it affect what I thought about the story. I think some people just go completely overboard. It's not that big of a deal. Of course, the animation is preferred, but the CGI did its job. I like that they drew over the CGI to make it as enjoyable as possible. But the story is still the same no matter what, and the storytelling is what made this show really good in the first place. I think it was good that we saw the other perspective of the world and that we took the time to go through the Marlians' perspective and showing how brainwashed they were too. So then everything starts to make sense. I really tried to like Gabby's character in the show. I mean, I like her character development, of course, but starting off she's just an annoying character, and it makes it worse because the voice that the voice actor uses for Gabby is very annoying. But that's just a little pet peeve of mine that I had with the show. It's not a big deal at all. I love how by the end of season 4 we understand that Eren wouldn't have been able to give Marley a chance at all, and actually he gave them a chance by going there in the first place and seeing how they live, seeing their perspective, and then only declared war because they did. So it was what he always said it would be. It was either fight or be killed. And by the end of the season, he states it as well because he's stuck in the past, the present, and the future all at the same time, and he said this was the only way, the only option. Eren also became very stoic, quiet, and cold-hearted, and it made sense for his character, especially with everything he's been through and all the memories he's seen, and everything just, it adds up. It makes sense for his character. And then everything from when Eren gets his head shot off is perfect. Chef's kiss. Mwah. The rumbling, all the visuals from here on out is peak. The storytelling, the music, the eerie, creepy feeling you get, and then the thought of imagining what this would really be like if it actually happened in real life. And then the way the show displays and conveys the rumbling, you can feel the weight and seriousness of a situation like this. I was honestly rooting for Eren. I would have been perfectly happy if Eren wiped everyone out because it honestly would have gotten rid of all their problems. And we've been on this trip with them this whole time. But that is to say, Eren is still wrong. It's almost like a Thanos situation. He's like a Thanos for the Attack on Titan universe. But honestly, what could he have done different? I want to know what you guys think that Eren could have possibly done different in the comments. Also, Eren's new form is extremely creepy and eerie to look at. It's actually pretty scary. When I first saw that, I was like, wow, oh my goodness. I wonder how they're gonna, because I got spoiled. I saw it on Instagram or something, and I saw Eren's form when he turns into that huge skeleton. I was like, oh my goodness, Eren, what has he become? This is actually looking really scary. I couldn't imagine seeing something like that in real life. I like how everyone ends up coming together. They settle their differences and start working together. Especially the moment Keith Shadis and Theo Magath, the conversation they had about them realizing what they did wrong at the end, that was pretty deep, very emotional. And I can't emphasize anymore that they did an amazing job showing the rumbling and how bad Eren felt about it as well. You really see how scary the situation is.
Oh man. Go back.
And you get a feeling of hopelessness because there's absolutely nothing you can do as they literally just trample over the earth. And of course the music is on point as usual. And Hanji went out like a beast, nothing but respect to her. She wasn't my favorite character or anything, but I definitely still liked her. And I think the way she went out was totally appropriate. I do think Reina ended up becoming a warrior like he had tricked himself and convinced himself to be throughout the show. I think that by the end of the show, he shows resilience, that he's a fighter, a warrior, he's fighting for the right cause, even after everything he's been through. I felt bad for Reina throughout the show. I also felt super bad for Mikasa. Especially Mikasa's final talk with Eren is so heartfelt and sad, but they did make it a satisfying ending with Mikasa killing Eren, and the way that she did it by coming to this realization that this is what Eren wants. It definitely feels like a paid off ending between him and Mikasa, because nobody would know Eren better than Mikasa. Eren knows and admits that he's failed, and at least he wants to give Mikasa her closure. The dialogue is short and simple, but everything comes across so clearly. I was also so happy to see that Eren finally confessed his love for Mikasa. He breaks down, he opens up, he becomes vulnerable now that he can do it. He can tell all his friends, he can open up, and I think it fits.
ミカサに男ができるなんて一生俺だけを思っててほしい。俺が死んだ後もしばらく10年以上は引きずっててほしい。
I think that Eren finally opening up and telling everybody that he got his own personal one-on-one time with everybody. I wish we got to see all of it, like all of their little talks with Eren. But with Mikasa and Armin, he opens up and he lets them know that, hey, I was wrong. I wish this could have happened. I wish I would have did this differently. This couldn't have worked out. This was the only way. All I want is for you guys to be happy and safe and to live long lives, man. It has always been his goal from the start. It's such a good ending because Eren wins and loses. And let's not lie here. I know a lot of us wanted Eren to win or wanted to at least see what that looked like and erase the rest of the world so that they wouldn't have any more problems. But only 20% is left and the Titan powers are gone. It's even deeper that he knew he died the whole time too. I do like how Bertold and everybody came to help out in the end. Kind of gives them some closure too and a better ending to their story because they definitely didn't deserve what they got either. Eren's final form is a little weird looking too. I'm not sure if it's a mix between all the Titans or not, but I know that he probably could have became something way crazier, but I believe that he didn't do it because he wanted them to kill him. Oh, and let's not forget that Levi is still fighting after everything. He's still going crazy. He had his little moment at the end too, opening Eren's mouth, and I'm glad that nobody is ever forgotten in the show. Oh, and also, wow, the end credits suggesting that it was all for nothing. All Eren may have achieved was peace for a small amount of time. This is why I wouldn't have minded if Eren destroyed everything, because it might have made for just a slightly better ending. That glimpse of the future is the craziest thing though, because not only was it pretty much all for no reason, it was also very realistic and has a deeper meaning relating to the real world. So yes, on top of all that, Attack on Titan does have a lesson, a moral to the story, and I believe it's that we all need to set aside our differences or conflict will never end and we all suffer at the end of the day. So that is my review on Attack on Titan, one of the greatest animes of all time. Thanks for watching. Please like the video if you did enjoy it, and if not, you disagree with me, you hate me now, a dislike. Peace out.